The next section in writing your methodology is the materials, or for some, they call it the research instruments. The research instruments will ask the basic question: what tool will you use in um, in measuring the variables? Now, when do we use materials? Remember, you have your grade 10 IP. I told you a while ago that quantitative research is not limited to questionnaires and to human experiments. What you do in your IP project, these like the mung beans and the lab rats, these are examples of quantitative research. Actually, you have done a quantitative research. Now, um, so if you are using like what they're doing in your IP, you call them materials. But if you're using a questionnaire, a test item, we call these research instruments. Now, what's in the section? We describe the materials, measures, equipment, or stimuli used in your research study. This may include testing instruments, technical equipment, books, images, and other materials. So, what will be seen, or what can I read from your research instrument section? First, you need to enumerate the instruments to be used. Then after enumerating all, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but in a paragraph form, okay, you need to describe each instrument. How will you describe the instrument? These are basic questions. Is it researcher made? Like you are the one who drafted the instrument? Was it adopted? Or remember yesterday, adapted or modified? If it's adopted, adapted, or modified, you need to cite who is the author or the authors. When was it published? And try to check what is the original reliability coefficient. Now, ma'am, how do I find the reliability coefficient of the instrument? You go to a sample research, the original research where the instrument was used, and you will see this sign. This sign is a fish. We call it Cronbach alpha. Now, a Cronbach alpha is a measure for reliability coefficient. Again, what's a reliability? What's reliability? It tells us how consistent the instrument is in measuring that variable. Now, why is the Cronbach alpha or the reliability coefficient important to states? Because before they say that you can use the instrument or the instrument is ready for testing if the Cronbach alpha is more than 60. But recently, in my research, I've read that it should be up to 0.70 before the instrument can be used for testing. Next, you need to add what's the structure or parts for your instrument. How many items are there? For example, let me go to what Bryant shared yesterday on the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index. Now, with that one, you need to spell out the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index was developed by David, blah, 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 in the year with the conduct official. There are 7 parts in the scale, namely this one, so habitual sleeping, sleep latency, and how many items for each. Now, if you are the one who will develop your instrument, can you tell me how will you content validate your items? Like, who is the expert who will check your items? And you need to describe your expert. Oh, my expert is a math teacher because my instrument is a math exam. My expert is a psychometrician because my instrument is on measuring IQ. Now you need to spell that out. Then actually what will happen is if you have this instrument, you need to let a group of students take it. We call it pilot testing, pilot, to check the reliability and the validity. Then we will report. But in this class, we will eliminate pilot testing first. Okay, you do that in college. That's the proper way to do it. For now, no more pilot testing. So simply report to us the reliability coefficients. For example, 2 stories from Sullivan et al.'s, this one, 1940, were used to assess children's understanding of second order belief. Let me give you an example. Here, what's the first thing to do? You need to enumerate. If, ma'am, when will I enumerate? You enumerate when you have two or more instruments. But if you have one instrument, no need to enumerate. Example, the instruments used in the study were instrument number 1, author, year. Instrument number 2, authors, year. Instrument number 3, authors, year. And here, researcher-made achievement test, researcher-made readiness test. That's 4, 5, topic test 6, and guide question 7. Oops, this one, we will have, you can add this in your research 3, in your inquiries, investigations, and immersion, because you will integrate the qualitative part. But for now, no need. Now, how did I describe it in a paragraph form? For example, let's just have instrument number 1. Instrument number 1, the name of the instrument, the authors, the year, and the purpose. It's used to measure sense attitude. Next, there are only 33 items. It's modified. How many components were there? There were 6. And I told you last time, right? The proper way is to validate it first. So who will validate it? You can delete this in your part. But if you're the one making the instrument, you need to include this. Who will validate this? Then how is it answered? And the parts, subscale, self-confidence, 16 items. You need to spell out what number for the items if it's in mixed. Value, another subscale, 10 items. Items 1, 2, 4, and so on. Then I need to say, spell out which items will be scored reversely. And how will I interpret? The higher the score in the ATMI, the more positive attitudes were displayed. Then you need to have your Cronbach alpha. But if it's not stated, it's okay. Another example from the study of Ilumba. Let's just underline the details. Okay, researcher-made test. So dapat, so ito ba sa researcher-made test, there should be a content validation. Who is the expert who checked the content and describe the expert? Next, how many items were there? 10 items. What's in the questionnaire? Personal data, instructions, before and after reading timestamp, instruction materials for reading, survey question, and procedural question. So how will they answer the scale? In Likert, extremely difficult, difficult, moderate, easy, and extremely easy. Now, that's a sample for our research